Welcome back to Dragon Ball Community to another Dragon Ball Super video here with Chris, and today we're going to be doing a deck breakdown of the new Dabura leader. If it's going to be good, if it's not going to be very good, and just going over a kind of a quick deck list that I came up with for the deck that I do think will be, we'll say pretty standard of a template for the leader. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, let me know what you guys think of the content and of the leader itself and the archetype in the deck and everything else like that. So going first, we're going to go over the what the leader does, right? So the leader, when this card attacks, look at the top 5 from the top of your deck, add up to 1 black evil wizard, black demon realm race, or black demon god among them, add them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So what's nice is everything outside of your unison and maybe some extra cards that you do run in the deck are going to be demon realm race, realistically. So you're going to be able to search out your entire deck, which is really cool. There's not a lot of leaders who have this sort of effect where they can just search out any card almost in their deck, outside of like Xeno, well not Xeno Cell, but like Cell Surge. So when you have 4 life or less, or your opponent's leader's back is facing up, basically meaning that they are awoken, you may draw 2 cards and then strike life down until you have 4 cards left in life, and then flip over. This is pretty powerful. Makes it so that you can do the the rushing sort of style and getting yourself down to 4 life. But if your opponent just decides to awaken early, you draw 2 and then strike down the 4, giving you access to your super combos and everything else that you would play in the deck. The awakened side of this leader, he becomes the demon god Dabura, and when he attacks, he draws 1. Activate main, play up to 1 black unison with no specific cost and 20k power from your drop area with a marker on it in rest mode. And at the end of the turn, send that card to the owner's warp. I think this is a little, we'll say, too balanced. And that's one of the big themes in this entire Dabura deck, is the deck is too balanced. Bandai did too much balancing of this leader, and they should have left some things, they should have let some things go through, The idea of this deck is supposed to be some sort of a weird spam swap demon deck, and it has some good qualities, but the problem is that there's a lot of things that this deck just doesn't do super well. We'll get into that when we get into the deck profile. So activate battle once per turn. Spirit boost 1, this card gets 6k power for the battle, which is cool. You basically should just make your leader a a 21k, which is decent. This is good for defensively. It's also good offensively, just to be able to get an extra 5k, or just to be able to push an extra damage in. Basically making your leader a 20k makes it so your opponent has to combo up past that. Makes it so you're guaranteed to get 2 cards or a super combo out of their hand. Now we're gonna go over to the deck list so I can break down what I have for you guys here. Alright, so we've already gone over what the leader does, so now we're going to go over the deck in its entirety here. So this is a pretty, I would say a pretty good template of what the deck could look like going into the set. So this is a 51 card deck, so pretty standard here. So we'll just kind of go card for card down here. So we have Support of the Dark Empire. This is the new token negate that black got. When your life is at 4 less or 5 or less, you may activate this card from your hand without paying its energy cost by taking a life, and it negates the attack and plays a demon realm soldier with blocker for the turn. And demon realm soldiers are 5k power, 0 combo cost, and 5k combo power, meaning he is a very similar to homicidal clones or testing the opposition, which is nice. I think giving black a negate that also can be used as combo power, pretty powerful, right? So we have the 1-drop of the deck. This is the only 1-drop we do run in the current form of the deck. Poutine Annihilation at hand. So auto when this card is played, search top 3, and then you do the same thing as your leader effect, but also searching out your black unison. So this is something you also can search out well. And you place the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck in any order, so you do not shuffle. Don't think it really plays a big difference in stuff, but you can just put stuff at the bottom of your deck. Spirit Boost and Swap 3. Choose 1 card in your hand, place it at the bottom of your deck, and then you swap into a Poutine of energy cost of 3. So this is cool. You have to have a Unison in play to be able to use it, so you can only do this probably turn 2. And you basically swap into a Poutine, and it costs 3. Now I put 3 Poutines in the deck, mainly because there's one that we don't really know if it's going to get banned yet, which is this card here. So Poutine the Dark Sorcerer. So if this card gets banned, this card is obviously going to come out of the deck, and we'll probably just add another one of the TP Poutines. But currently, if you can swap into this, this is super powerful for a black deck, right? Having access to Poutine, a barrier, basically field general, whenever your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter, you may switch up to one of the battle cards to rest mode. Very powerful. I kind of hope they don't ban it, so we can at least try it in this deck. Do I think it's going to be the best? No, I definitely think the other 2 options are definitely better. But this card is very, very cool to swap into, and just a cool little tech that if you're able to do it, it could be, you know, be a very, very good defensive tool for you. So the actual 2 targets here, we have the Demon God Poutine. So we're gonna go over the Umbral Might, which is the one that comes in the set. A little irritated that Poutine did not get an SPR. I feel like she deserved one, but regardless, whatever. So she's a 15k blocker, Dark Overwhelm 1 for 3. That makes this card probably one of the best black Overwhelm 3 cards down in the game. You have this, you have the Mira Overwhelm, and you have Revive Ravager, or whatever the heck that card's called. The one that got printed in Mystic Booster, right? The 15k crit, right? I think this is the best Overwhelm card. Now, the problem is that this does cost 1 energy. So that is the way that they balance this, is by not making it a 0 cost. Because if this was the 0 cost, oh my god, there's some things you can do with this. But for 1 energy, it's still pretty good, right? When this card is played from your hand, play up to 1 Demon Realm Soldier token with 5 in. So basically, just creates a token. They say, well, why would you create a token? So you activate battle, you choose one of your one of your Demon Realm tokens, and remove it from the game. Draw a card. This card gets 10k and switches to active mode. So it works as a double blocker. But also you can use it as a pressure piece. So you can swing with it for 25k, activate battle, pop the token that you played, draw a card, and then just leave it up for as a blocker, right? And then you have the ability to play the support of the Dark Empire on your defensive turn and use her. So what a cool little thing you actually can do with this, if you have her on the board, right? She's in active mode, right? So let's say you block with her, and then the next attack your opponent swings, you play the support of the Dark Empire, right? Then you can block with this, your opponent does whatever, right? Then you can actually just activate battle, pop this to restand her to draw a card. The battle automatically ends because the card has been removed from battle. So then you'll have another blocker, and you drew a card without sacrificing any resources, and that is incredibly powerful. This is a very, very powerful combo that's just going to be used in a lot of black decks, just because she is not tied to being a Demon Realm leader. The unison of choice for the deck is the Dark King Magic Dabura. It has Empower 2 black. Basically means if this card replaces a black unison, it can carry over up to 2 markers. So if you have a unison in play that has 4 markers, you play him for 1, he's going to take 2 of those markers, becoming a 3 cost. If this card has 3 or fewer markers, it cannot attack, which does kind of suck, but it is what it is. It is a 20k for one energy, right? Auto, when you play a black Demon Realm using the swap skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, 3 or less, and send it to the warp. This is pretty powerful. I don't know how well it's gonna be, but being able to just warp things on board is pretty powerful. So it just gives you some interesting board removal. And activate main for 1, choose 1 card in hand, place at the bottom of your deck, and then draw 1. It's a way to keep things in the deck. There is a reason we do want to put cards, back into our deck. Maybe that we don't want in our hand. So it's cool. I do wish that this card had another way of adding markers to it. And this is one of the issues that I have, is that it is a +1 unison. It doesn't have any other way of gaining markers. If this card had, if the swap effect gave this card a marker as well, this card would be way better than what it is. But unfortunately, it is the only one that we can really run. The Toa is nice, but the Toa actually doesn't have a +1. You actually have to pitch a card to actually do anything. Not very good. I think this one's probably the best one for the deck. Also, it has Empower, so being able to cycle out 1 to play this one is, I think, pretty good. We have Toa, Annihilation at hand. This is another searcher. When you play this card, look at the top 3, add up to 1 Evil Wizard, Demon Realm Race, or Demon God, or your Unison, and then place your other cards at the bottom of the deck. And this has a Spirit Boost 1, and they swap 3 into a Toa of energy cost of 3. Now, a lot of people think, well, why would you play this card, right? This card's bad. It's a 15k. It's a 2 cost. You're not paying 2 to swap into this, right? Doesn't make any sense. You're wrong. Reason is we use this card here, which is Dabura, the King's Summon. This is the linchpin to the deck. If this card did not exist, this deck would be even worse than what it is right now. So you have to run 4 of this card. You have to. It's not in question. So for leader's black, Demon Realm, you place this card from your hand and 1 card in your life to the drop area. Send 1 battle card from your opponent's drop area to the warp, and then play up to 2 black battle cards with Evil Wizard and or Demon Realm Race with energy cost of 2 and different card names that are not Mecha from your deck. Then shuffle, and you can activate cards for the rest of the turn. So basically, you play out any of your Demon Realm Races, right? Right? Demon Realm Race? Yep. So you can play this girl out off of the Dabura from your deck, which makes it really, really good, right? Now, we did also add some other options here because this deck is, very, you hold this card to a very high standard. This is one of your big playmakers for the deck, right? So we can play out Toa here, right? So we can, search top 3, add any card and bond back the other 2. We can swap into our other Toa for free, right? You can play out your super combo, and super combo is just a draw. Sparking 5. Pretty good. Probably not going to play out that, but we have the choice. You can also play out Poutine, so we can play out the 2 cards that are actually in the archetype already. Now here's where it kind of gets interesting, right? So we can run we run Toa Secret Maneuver. This card came out of set 10. Was kind of looked at as just being a really dumb card. Very cool effect, but no one's paying 2 energy for this card. And King Summon came out, and people realized you can start playing this card off King Summon. Once per turn, when this card is played or attacks, search top 5 for a Demon Realm Race, add it to your hand. So it's going to be the majority of our deck we can search off. Like this, unfortunately, you can't search off of it. This you can. This you can search off of the other cards because this is an Evil Wizard. Same thing with this. This is a Demon God, so you can't search it. So you can't search the two powerful Poutine cards, but you can search the other 2. I mean, you actually can't search any of the Poutine cards. But you can search almost everything else that you have in the deck, right? Which is pretty powerful, right? Being able to search out super combos, just being able to just search a card off of playing it, and then also just attacking once per turn is pretty powerful. Also, Gravy and Demiurge's Thrall. When this card attacks, you may choose up to 2 cards in your warp and place them in the drop area. This is the important part about this card. It says cards. So what that means is we actually can put our Unison back into the drop area, which then will allow us to use our leader ability to tap 1 to play it out again, right? This is a card you probably may want to run 4 of in the deck, just because it is extremely powerful in that sense, because you can put back your Unison, because it just says cards, and that's really, really important. Being able to put that back in there, being able to fill it up for sparking, which is good for your power burst and your super combos, but being able to do that so then you can play out your Demon King Dabura from the drop area is very, very powerful. I kind of skipped around here a little bit, so we're going to go to the Demon God Toa here, the Umbral Might. You can, this is the main target that you're evolving off of this Toa here, and you also can X-Evolve for 2 energy on top of a Toa energy cost of 2 or less, so you actually can evolve on top of Secret Maneuver, you can evolve on top of your Super Combo, and this Toa here as well. When this card is played from your hand, draw 1, and then your opponent may choose up to 2 of their battle cards and or cards in their hand and send them to the owner's warp. If your opponent sent 1 or fewer cards to the owner's warp using the skill, choose up to one of their Unisons with 4 markers or more and gain control over it. So what's powerful is that basically your opponent has a choice, right? This is only really good for removing Unisons. So that's kind of the big thing, is you have to remove Unisons with this. Like it's like the Finn Unison Absorber card, right? This is really going to be good against decks that are running Unisons. The problem is this card has no defense. So even if it's the board against the green deck, or if it hits the board, like this card's never hitting the board against the blue deck. Blue's just going to Godzilla this right back to your hand, and you're not going to do anything. That's kind of a problem, right? We don't really like that. That's no bueno. So if this card had Deflect, it'd be even better. I would probably run it as a 4 of, but 3, it's just kind of there. Like I said, you're never playing this card against blue, so just don't even try to play it against blue. Every other color though, being able to steal a unison, pretty powerful if they don't warp battle cards and or cards from their hands. So that's really good. And it's a 15k dual attacker that draws you a card, so it's not too bad. We have Demon God Dabura Umbral Might. This is an Overwhelm 4 for 3 energy. We're never playing it for this, so don't even ask. We're not playing it for this. When this card is played, though, you draw a card and your opponent chooses one card in their hand and send it to the warp. So if you say we're never casting it for this, and Chris, why are we running this card? Well, we're running it because of the promo here, which is Dabura Ready to Strike. Dabura, when this card is played, your opponent may choose one card in their hand and send it to the warp. If they don't, choose one of their opponent's leader cards in rest mode, or up to one of their opponent's battle cards when it costs 4 less in rest mode, and it cannot attack until the end of their next turn. So this just stops your opponent's leader from being able to attack, which is pretty powerful. We all know how strong that is for the 4-drop Sin that does that, right? So being able to stop your opponent's leader from attacking just gives you a whole just gives you some extra defense, right? I wish this was a 15k. Unfortunately, it's not. But this card you then swap into the Demigra, or the Demon God Dabura here for free. So you play this out off of your Magic Dabura. Realistically, you can play Dabura and Toa, and you can swap into the Toa, and then you can swap this into the Dabura. Both of them will draw you a card. This one will warp a card from your opponent's hand. This one can warp potentially 2 and steal a unison. It's not too bad. King Vegeta, Kingdom Lost. We're going to be warping cards from our opponent's board. We only need 3 cards in their warp. Once we have 3 cards in their warp, we're going to be able to play this out for 2. Unique Double Strike Barrier. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards or one card in their hand and send it to the warp. And when this card's in rest mode, if your opponent wants to attack the leader, they have to warp a card once per turn. Very powerful card. Definitely something that any black deck that's not a heavy Overwhelm deck should just be running this, because this is a solid card. I'm sure if any black deck, either Dabura or any black deck in the future that's not an Overwhelm based deck, starts topping and starts playing really well, Kingdom Lost is going to be a $10-15 card very, very easily. Pan Secret Rare, just because it's free, and we like free, we're gonna be able to spam out the board a lot with our King Summon and just playing some of these smaller guys. So Pan's gonna come online pretty quickly. Just being a 40k body that you can also turn into a 50k double for 1 energy or steal a battle card, pretty powerful. We do run a 1 secret ID. This is just the Overwhelm that we decided to put into the deck. Not much really else to say about it. I think it's okay. It just being able to just take stuff off the board and swing for 25k body is not too bad. Chain Attack Gravy. This is a really cool card. I love playing this card. So this works perfectly with a King Summon. You play it off of it, and then whenever you combo with a Demon Realm Race, or a Evil Wizard, during your turn you may draw a card. So your super combo, which is a Demon Realm Race and a Demon God, when you combo with this, you actually end up drawing 2. You draw off of this, and then you draw off of the Gravy effect as well, which is pretty powerful. So basically, any of these cards you decide to combo with on your turn, you'll draw a card. So like Gravy becomes a pseudo super combo, Toa becomes a double super combo. Any of the other cards here all become super combos, which is pretty cool. Just being able to just draw extra cards is not too bad, right? The TP Demon God Poutine Mind Wiped Malevolence. This is an interesting card, right? It's a 5k blocker. When this card is played from your hand, you choose the 20 opponent's battle cards, and it costs 4 or less. Switch it to active mode and gain control over it. It's also a Dark Overwhelm for 2 energy and an Overwhelm of 3. This is a very strange card, right? For one, I love this card. I want a full playset of it, mainly because it's a Winter Sand Poutine, and I just really want it, right? The second thing is it's swappable off of this Poutine here, which is cool. Basically mean you're playing her for 1. I wish she drew a card. I wish as a Winter Stamp, like as a TP, she would actually draw a card too. But being able to steal a battle card from your opponent's board for the rest of the game is pretty good, especially a 4-drop. That's pretty nuts, right? So currently we're running 1 of this. If Poutine the Dark Sorcerer gets banned, we'll probably bump up Mind Wipe to 2. But then probably just leave the rest of it as it is, right? And then 2 Realm of the Gods Crimson Hero Strike. Activate battle if your leader and all your energy is black. Choose up to one of your cards and it gets 10k for the battle. Then choose one. If it's your turn, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and energy costs higher than their current energy and send it to the warp. Or if it's your opponent's turn, draw a card and then mill off the top of your cards of your deck. This is to help you, realistically on this, you're probably going to use it for the 10k draw one on your opponent's turn. But being able also to warp something on your turn that your opponent has on the board is going to be pretty good. This deck here, I do feel is probably one of the best collection of how the cards will actually work. What the deck struggles against, realistically, is going to be things that can control their hands. So any sort of green deck, using Rebrand against this deck is going to be very scary, right? There are portions of this deck that actually can draw quite a bit. Using things like Toa and Gravy, pulling them out from King Summon, and then comboing with just any of your other cards to be able to draw a card, you're going to be plussing at particular points in the game. Your sideboard would probably consider something running like a Bardock Unison, throwing it on Bardock Unison on turn 2, and then just for the rest of the game just kind of using him for the Spirit Boost effect, since he does have a Spirit Boost effect of warping battle cards from the drop. So that's pretty cool. But really, realistically, other than that, like you're having to just kind of go full hog. Dabura not being a restand 2 or a restand 1 leader is really odd. So he just draws 2. So you're drawing a ton of cards. You just have to then stay alive while you're untapped. So that is kind of a weird thing here. So I do think this deck is really interesting. I will be building it just because I build every demon deck that comes out. Especially black decks, because most of these black decks are really fun to play. Doesn't mean they're amazing, but I do think this deck has potential. This is just a good template here. But tell me, guys, what you guys think, what you guys can do with this deck. Any sort of weird techs, any cool cards you guys like to see us add, and discuss it down below. I will be interested to see what you guys have to say. So thank you guys for watching again. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.